All right, what is up, everyone? So today I am interviewing Cloudy. He is the creator of some mods that you might already know if you've seen the channel. He's the creator of Creeping X and Can't Breathe. You want to say hi, Cloudy?
Hello. Hi.
I wanted to ask you about Creeping X first. So I know you said it was inspired by a character, Lord X. So I don't know much
Yeah.
about that character, and I don't know if other viewers know about it, but from that, what do you feel you specifically took the most inspiration from that character? Because I don't know anything about that, so I was just kind of curious on that.
Most inspiration I took from the Lord X character, uh, mostly it's the eyes, but his voice, like the new voice lines for the update and the mod that I made, it was mostly inspired by how he speaks and talks, and just it's God, I'm so bad at trying to explain things, but it's his voice and just like his some of his appearances inspired by that character. Because I've been like a huge fan of like Sonic and just the Sonic creepypastas and stuff. And that's where I get a lot of inspiration for like a lot of my mods is Sonic creepypastas.
All right, so following the Creeping X here, so traditionally most horror mods are super fast and really in your face versus Creeping X. He's the complete opposite of that. How did you get the idea to go for more of a slower mob like that, just something that wasn't as common in the horror mods?
So a lot of horror mods right now, they kind of just like when they chase you, they're really fast. They don't really give you a lot of time to like react. Well, some do, but I feel like it's a good contrast from my Can't Breathe mod because a lot of people expect this fast creature to kind of like chase them down and kill them, like with no mercy. Like, but with Creeping X, it's like he kind of like slowly follows you and watches you until he decides like the time is right to actually strike. And I feel like it's really just a good contrast from a lot of mods right now because not a lot of mods just kind of give you a chance to like defend yourself some and also like know like what's coming.
Yeah, so yeah, I think you summarized that pretty well. 'Cause I remember my first playthrough of it, if anyone watched it on the channel, I remember I compared it a lot to kind of Michael Myers in that sense, where there's this like presence that's so powerful coming at you that it's even though it's super slow, you still feel like that, feeling of being threatened. So I think you did a great job capturing that horror aspect, which I think a lot of people don't because I mean, I myself like horror movies a lot, and I feel like that draws more suspense and more fear into you when you see something so unstoppable just slowly,
It's
creeping towards you.
menacing.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's what makes like characters like Michael Myers so great, and your character Creeping X, where it's like you just have this menacing creature coming at you, and there's not much you can do about it. Even though it's super slow, it's like I like the slow burn of it. So I want to ask a little bit about Can't Breathe now. So you have the regular version of Can't Breathe and the Nightmare version. Would we expect to see something similar like that to the Creeping X mod, where you might get like a Nightmare Creeping X or like a more difficult version of him?
I don't think so. I don't think there's going to be no. Just for the reason I feel like the mod is fine where it is right now. The only reason I did a nightmare version for Can't Breathe is there were people who were telling me that they want like a version of him where he spawns more often and it's just scarier in general to play with. So I that's what I wanted to give the community.
So between developing both Creeping X and Can't Breathe, do you feel like you learned more from one of the mods, or do you feel like you learned equally from each one, or did any of the development in either one kind of help with the other, or vice versa?
So I learned some from Can't Breathe. I know that people really complained about like the loud sounds of Can't Breathe, so I'm trying to like tone down on that with a lot of my mods because there were people complaining on Can't Breathe's page like it hurts my ears is what people were saying, and I kind of feel bad now. But another thing is I learned that if you make your mods like quieter, it's harder to know when they're gonna actually show up. Because with Can't Breathe, like a lot of his sounds are quiet for his spawning, and Creeping X he makes no sound when he spawns. Uh, so it's like you never know when they're really gonna like show up, and I think that's really like I think that's good because a lot of mods don't do that. They just straight up are like, oh, here's a sound that it's gonna play, and it's gonna tell you it spawned.
No, yeah, I remember. I remember reading the description for Can't Breathe. I remember you put that saying that to turn up your audio a little bit more so you could hear his sounds because they're very subtle. It's like you just hear like a breathing noise, and then with Creeping X, I think the only reason I heard him was because I had the sound physics mod, and I guess the way he spawned in, like he took damage when he fell. If it weren't for that, then I wouldn't have heard him at all.
The thing about X though is the only way you can actually hear him coming is if you're really listening, because he does make footstep sounds when he walks. They're really quiet though.
Yeah, and I like the idea of things being quieter because I kind of feel like it plays more with the feeling of the unknown, and I feel like the feeling of the unknown is really what more mods need because I feel like I'm more scared shitless when I don't know what's coming. Like if I can't see the mod or I can't really hear it, I feel like there's more in my head, kind of like, oh, like where is it at? Why can't I hear it? Versus other mods where, like you were saying earlier, like as soon as they like show up, even if you don't see them, there's like a indicator, just like super loud chase music. So I do like the idea of more subtle noises that make you turn your head if you don't really know if you heard it, because I kind of feel like you start hearing things that aren't actually there. So I really like
Yeah.
the feeling of the unknown more versus like knowing exactly where something is at. Any like final things you want to say about Creeping X or Can't Breathe, like before we move on, or if you have anything at all?
So some more stuff about Can't Breathe. Can't Breathe. He's probably going to get a small content update in the future, adding some more behaviors and just some more stuff in general related to the mod. Because I feel like I still need to work on that mod some more. I'm not done with it.
Okay, so you have two upcoming mods. You have one that's called the Unseen End, and then the Adder. So, what are some of the things that you can tell us about those two mods right now that you have?
So I'm probably not gonna reveal much because there are people out there who kind of just like they'll hear like ideas that aren't even done and will kind of like take them and make them their own, like kind of how someone did with In Your World to Abalia. But
Yeah.
basically Unseen End, it's gonna be more of like a Minecraft like styled horror mod. It's I'm just gonna let you, it's gonna involve Enderman, um and just like there's gonna be this creature that kind of resembles an Enderman, but it's not really right. Um, Adder is a mod that I'm working on with a developer. You've probably heard of him. He's worked on a few mods and has actually made a mod of his own, the Starved Stalker, and he's worked with Mado to make the Knocker and the Man from the Fog. Um, I've actually talked to you a bit on stream, on one of your streams about Adder. It's going to be reintroducing Can't Breathe, a few other entities that I've made. It's going to add a new dimension and just a bunch of other creatures.
Okay, nice. So, like, are you trying to like kind of make like a universe within like your own mods? Like, are they all going to be connected almost, or?
So the only mod that is connected is Adder. Adder's connected to Can't Breathe, like his universe some, and just a few other creatures, universes like X's.
So with all the horror mods that are always coming out, every day we kind of see a new one, or not, if not every day, at least every week we're seeing something new. What are some things you would like to see improve in the future within the horror mod community?
Mm. Uh, I honestly would say just the people in it. A lot of people in the community have really big egos and they only care about themselves. Um, I've tried working with other creators in the horror community, honestly, and I've either gotten told to go fuck myself because they don't need my help,
Oh shit.
or just things like that. Like, because there are people who like kind of genuinely need help when like making things, like just like animation wise or texturing wise. I try to help people out as much as I can because I want to be nice to people. And uh, I know some people who like I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but I know some people in the horror community who I've tried helping out and just go tell me to fuck myself. So
Yeah, that's a little disappointing considering, I mean, like, since, within like the modding part of the community, I feel like it's more beneficial just for everyone if, people were more helpful. So it's nice to see that at least, you're trying to be helpful, and anyone that, does, get your help, I think that's a great thing for them.
some things that I think the horror community could work on is uh, just animation. Um, I'm not saying that a lot of like mods are bad because of their animations, but there are definitely some good mods out there that really have like good mechanics. It's just what ruins them is like their animation. I feel like some people sloppily put together animations or don't take time on them to like work on them, and it makes the mod feel rushed.
Yeah, I get that because I feel like there can be there are mods that are out there that are good ideas overall, but if the appearance of the creature isn't on par with the idea, then it could definitely lead it to fall a little bit flat, and maybe you're not as immersive. Like you said, if they took a little bit more time in the animation, just the general appearance of the entity, I feel like it would feel a little bit more well rounded versus something that's just a rushed mod just to kind of have it out there.
But one thing I do want to say, the horror community seems to like to steal things a lot from others. And I actually uh, used to be one of those people. I would reskin the dweller or whatever, but been trying to move away from that. Can't breathe was my last. Well, no, it wasn't can't breathe. Torture was my last reskin, and then I decided to just drop the reskins. I was tired of it because I felt like I was ruining the horror community, and everybody else who was doing dwellers just kind of is ruining it too. So I really wanted to move away from it and learn how to actually make a horror mod, which Creeping X is so far an okay non-dweller horror mod that I've made.
Yeah, I think you've done a great job going in your own direction and making, two unique mods, especially with Creeping Eggs. I think that's like probably your most unique mod right now. And I'm excited to see some of your new work whenever you get a chance to kind of release more of that. And I'm sure the horror community is going to appreciate more original mods, which I think is something we really need right now. So thank you to people like yourself because I don't mod for shit. So I wouldn't be able to make videos without, people like Claudia or people like Avalia. So thank you to everyone that does make horror mods and, good ones out there. Well, that was the interview today, guys, with Cloudy. So I'll go ahead and link down his Discord in this description. So if you guys want to find some of his updates and just get a little bit more connected with him, and then also link down his mods, or I can probably just link down his mod page, and you can kind of go through everything and play them yourself. So that'll be all for today. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Thank you.
Go subscribe to this guy. He's cool.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Cloud.